me, chat.
Who is the best looking YouTuber according... Who is the best looking YouTuber according to AI? Starting off with Mr. Beast, which I used this picture for AI, and it gave him a 7.5 out of 10, with the weakest score going to his smile and teeth, which I think he actually got veneers recently, so it probably buffed him a bit. Next up was Speed, so I used this picture, and AI notably liked his smile and presence a lot and gave him an 8 out of 10. Ryan Trahan was next, so I used this picture of him, and again, AI liked his smile a lot, and so they ranked him actually slightly higher than Speed at an 8.2. Next up was Brent Rivera, and AI actually gave him an 8.4, leading the pack at this point because of his sharp facial structure and strong hair. Moving on, and Logan Paul was next, and I fed the AI this picture of him, and he got an 8.6 according to AI for his tall face and jawline combined with his friendly smile. Next up was Kai Cenat, and at this point he had scored the highest out of anybody with an 8.8 out of 10 because of his smile, facial structure, and overall presence. But the best looking YouTuber after going through 30 different ones according to AI was actually Nick DiGiovanni, who was given a 9 out of 10 on the conventional attractiveness scale because of his symmetry, bone structure, and polished grooming. Good job, Nick. Who is the best looking...
Yeah, but you don't know if you wanna let pride interfere with shit. But yo, what's good, chat? How y'all feeling today? I'm feeling blessed. Back with more of me playing The Walking Dead Season 3 A New Frontier, which is not necessarily a typical playthrough. So, I actually... And I'm sweaty at the moment because I just got finished working out. Can we make a chat? I hate sweating constantly. Real shit, I don't necessarily like sweating, I don't necessarily like having oily skin. I had oily hair, so I had to clean my hair yesterday because apparently, I'm gonna be honest, and people are gonna be like, wow, you are real shit lazy. It's not necessarily laziness, it's just my stress and anxiety, specifically associated with my, you know what, my traumatic situation, if y'all watch my recent live streams. And have I mentioned any changes last live stream? I was quite curious if I mentioned like any changes for exactly year 2029 or 2035. I was quite curious if I have. Who knows, I'll be sure to consider checking once I get a chance, but there are certain things I want to specifically mention before I get this situated. You know, I don't necessarily need to recap. So overall, you would just have to overall watch my last live stream from last night. I know, chat. Unfortunately, I had to stop there because my head was hurting and my eyes like wanting to shut overall, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Because I played very late. My bad, chat. I just had certain things that it's quite personal I was thinking about, and I just didn't necessarily want to stream because I was very stressed and anxious. My stress and anxiety level, whew, was interfering, unfortunately. Actually, I didn't necessarily mention any changes, but I specifically mentioned just check my recent live stream. But I'm gonna mention any changes within this live stream. You know what I mean? Because I am gonna send my homie and his wifey or wife what I mentioned, and I actually mentioned the group chat, and I'm able to, you know, and I'm gonna actually play it because y'all want to hear it as well, because I actually mentioned plenty of details, and I actually mentioned it a couple of days ago, so y'all gotta consider checking that shit. Anybody who's new here though wouldn't even realize, so I prefer if I just, that's why I constantly repeat it, because people are like, I don't want to hear it. No offense to Darby though, and Darby have not necessarily been on my stream since like January or February. I'll say February. March? No, he wasn't. Actually, no, March he was, I'm pretty sure. April's when he possibly stopped. Who knows? Who knows when exactly he last joined my live stream? You know? And I'm not gonna necessarily mention much of the past, because it's very negative. But anyway, chat, so, apparently I used walkie-talkies while within my internship at work, so we were overall within the training process, because I actually used it before overall, but it's within the city, because I'm an intern. I'm not going to necessarily apply there. I'm possibly going to find a job at a restaurant before I consider moving towards Florida, because it feels like paradise. It's not gonna be, because hurricanes and all that shit, no, that's not paradise. But it's just a resemblance, you know. Palm trees are a resemblance of paradise, like heaven. Paradise overall means heaven, or the new earth, just... You know, and yeah, unfortunately, yeah, Charlie Kirk died. For those who are new here, yeah, unfortunately passed away. That's actually very traumatic. I don't necessarily want to be in this position. And I mentioned to myself, if I want to be a vice president or a president, I gotta consider being biologically immortal and indestructible, have achieved indestructibility biologically. Because if I achieve that, if I get shot, the bullet would just overall bounce off. People will be like, oh my gosh, man, it just got shot. But they'll be like, wow, how exactly did you not necessarily died? Or rest in peace or whatever. And I'll mention, God Almighty, Jesus Christ, saving His grace. He gave me the authority to achieve that. And people are like, well, that's a sin. No, whatever God in my Jesus Christ mentioned, you can't assume that's what he mentioned. You can't assume that. If the Bible mentioned it, then I would have go according to the Bible, but it didn't necessarily mention. It mentioned because it's rewritten, so you wouldn't actually know. So sin is within this world. This world is fucked up, and man, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. And so apparently, a 23-year-old girl slash woman died. I feel bad for her. Apparently, she got stabbed, and that's fucked. I don't necessarily want to be in this position, man. I mean, I am just traumatized by it. And I'm just gonna wanna consider not being on public buses like that. I wanna consider being on a public bus that's not necessarily sketchy. What if I'm within a building? Well, if I hear shooting, I'm gonna hide. I'm gonna have a gun. I'm gonna buy a gun this year. I am like gonna real shit buy a gun this year. Like that's why they shouldn't necessarily raise it to 21. I feel like if you're 8 plus, well, that change is gonna occur next decade. But overall, you just have to be 8 plus, meaning you have to go through puberty. Cause guns are heavy. I'm gonna be honest, real shit. A pistol is heavy, an AR. Overall, you would have to overall carry a pistol. A rifle, not necessarily, unless who knows, it's gonna take a while for me to process. And my head is hurting quite a bit, so. But yeah, I feel like once I make that change on exactly the year 2035, actually, I'm gonna play this voice audio message because actually you should overall hear this shit. It's gonna be like 5. Actually, I'm gonna play this voice audio. What's 5 plus 4 plus 4? Hey Siri, what's 5 plus 4 plus 4? Be like 13 somewhat minutes. I'm gonna consider playing it because there's plenty of what I mentioned. I mean, my head is hurting quite a bit, but y'all know what I'm gonna specifically mention over. Yeah, I mean. And yeah, I'm gonna officially be working next week, like in terms of my internship. Yeah, I mean. Alrighty, in roleplay, yeah. That's gonna be whenever I get a chance because my homie AZ has been quite busy. Yo, what's good, Salvador? How you feeling, brother? Bro, our streak ended. Were you quite busy? I mean, shit, he has his rights to be busy. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go within this group chat. I have to scroll quite up. It was a couple days ago, yesterday. Couple days ago, actually. It was a couple days ago. So it was Tuesday, okay. Because yesterday Charlie Kirk died. Damn, it was yesterday. So it was that exact day, wow. And can people snipe you without necessarily knowing who you are? No. Oh, shit, but I'm a YouTuber. People are gonna hate what my changes are gonna be, which they think I'm gonna harm younger people. No, not necessarily. Or older people, because there could be changes that, you know, overall, they're gonna be, like, they gotta, like, realize. But, I'm not as famous, so I'm hoping that I achieve that. I'm gonna actually invent that next year. Because I don't want to die. Oh my gosh. It's very traumatizing. That's why if I want to be in a position like Charlie Kirk or what's his name? Overall. If I was like Donald Trump, oh, he got shot but he survived. It's gonna take a while for me to excuse me, not take a while for me to process. It's gonna take a while for me to find the chat, so give me a minute. Hold on, let me put the volume down. I'm pretty sure y'all want to hear it. Ooh, no. There's a part where, yeah, I don't necessarily like it. There you go. Apply. Okay. It's like I'm applying for a job, bro. Shit. I don't necessarily like to apply online. And I mentioned they're arrogant, they're slothful because they just, you know, they're very lazy and they're greedy because they just want individuals who are rich. Actually, no, that's stupid. Why would you want someone simply because they're rich? That's greedy. Alright.
And I mentioned the changes. Real shit, though. When I'm President Craig, at 28 years old, well, I'll be running for president at exactly 27 years old, and then be in office at exactly 28. While I'm president, bro, I'm gonna make plenty of changes, bro. I'm gonna be president, while I'm gonna be vice president, real shit. When I'm 27, he'll be 29, so real shit. And I mentioned the changes for exactly the year 2029. I mentioned that I'm going to lower certain age requirement laws just to prove to humanity, all of humanity, that people are mentally mature. All of humanity.
Okay, y'all able to hear it, okay. It's gonna redo again, it's all good.
And I mentioned the changes for exactly the year 2029. I mentioned that I'm going to lower certain age requirement laws just to prove to humanity, all of humanity, that people are mentally mature overall, regardless of their chronological age and regardless of their mental maturity, especially the chronological ages I specifically mentioned within this group chat overall. You know what I mean? What I mean by regardless.
And this is towards you as well because I mentioned these changes within this I'm a recent live streams overall, real shit. Never. I mean, I'm a uploads, but I haven't been recording lately. I'm not able to record. Oh, I recorded Beyond Two Souls, but I'll see what I could possibly edit or whatever. Anyway,
Of mental maturity, meaning, for example, when I was 7, which is actually the age where people are aware of their mental maturity. 7+ is when you're aware of your mental maturity, where your brain makes room for your neurons as it enlarges, you know? And, for example, when I was 7, 8, or no, hold up. Actually, those are the ages where I was mentally mature. But from age 13 to 20, to the age I currently am now, while I was temporarily, physically an adolescent within my mortal body, which obviously is a current synonym, unfortunately, which is obviously unfortunate, and temporarily is adolescent/adult. But the word adult means being mentally mature, meaning up, increased mental maturity. Adult, meaning up, increased mental maturity, regardless of your mental maturity and regardless of your chronological age. You know what I mean? So from 13, I knew how to open a bank account, but simply because of the current law, which is a bitch-ass, motherfucker.
Akhre means piece of shit and gahbib means bitch. So piece of shit, bitch ass, or bitch.
In current law, you know. You know what I mean? So from 13, I knew how to open a bank account, but simply because of the current law, which is a bitch-ass, motherfucking current law, you know. Despite the age requirement laws being temporarily.
This was on Tuesday, just so you all are aware.
I knew how to get a credit card or a debit card, and I knew how to open a bank account, you know. I just needed to, because my parents unfortunately had my SSN, but thank goodness I have my SSN with me, which is overall in my wallet, because apparently I found my SSN somewhere, which is a miracle. I found on the ground. But anyway,
Miracles for God of my Jesus Christ, chat.
That's what I mean by regardless of mental maturity. So from 13 to 20, it's the same mental maturity. But back then, it took me a very long while for me to process in terms of majority of the aspects or majority of the things, compared to today, where it takes quite a while for me to process in terms of certain aspects or certain things, that is overall specifically associated with my rare specific type of mental trauma, which is very rare and very temporarily, and overall very decreased overall. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I mean. And when I mean by regardless of your chronological age, regardless of our chronological age and regardless of our mental maturity, when I mean by regardless of our chronological age, I mean it doesn't necessarily matter which chronological age you are. Whether you're 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and beyond that, into your 30s or 40s or whatever. But overall, overall, Helen, or anybody who's listening overall, overall we're temporally, physically an adolescent within a mortal body. Unfortunately, like I'm an adolescent, because the word adult, because when people mention legally an adult, 18 have nothing to do with that. I'm going to remove that as well when I'm president.
And I've mentioned that in my recent live stream, so.
And when Farhan's vice president, because real shit, we don't necessarily need that because we're mentally mature overall, and that just means, like when it comes to signing a contract, opening a bank account, joining the military, voting, just be mentally mature. Just be aware, especially for younger folks. Or 40s or whatever. But overall, overall, Helen, or anybody who's listening, overall, overall, we're temporally, physically an adolescent within a mortal body. Unfortunately, like I'm an adolescent, because the word adult, because when people mention legally an adult, 18 have nothing to do with that. I'm going to remove that as well when I'm president and when Farhan's vice president, because real shit, we don't necessarily need that because we're mentally mature overall, and that just means, like when it comes to signing a contract, opening a bank account, joining the military, voting.
All of that is 7+, but the military part is like 8 or 10 because you have to go through puberty, because you have to overall handle the physical aspects in terms of like certain training process overall, especially when carrying a weapon overall. Yeah, I mean?
Just be mentally mature. Just be aware, especially for younger folks, like younger individuals, like those who are temporarily, physically a kid/child within their mortal body, or temporarily, physically an adolescent within their mortal body, whether younger or older, like my age, or beyond that, whatever, like in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or whatever.
Or younger, yeah, I mean?
Or hundreds or thousands, which in a thousand, that was like an ancient era. But I'm saying, like, within the, like I'm an adolescent, because the word adult, because when people mention legally an adult, 18 have nothing to do with that. I'm going to remove folks, like younger individuals, like those who are temporarily, physically a kid/child within their mortal body, or temporarily, physically an adolescent within their mortal body, whether younger or older, like my age, or beyond that, whatever, like in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or whatever, or hundreds or thousands, which in a thousand, that was like an ancient era. But I'm saying, like, within the further future, nearest future, or excuse me, very future. But anyway, the adolescent/adult synonym overall, especially within this decade, it's going to potentially be removed in exactly 4 years. So it doesn't mean like the final decade where it'll occur, but the final year of this decade is where it will be removed. And we'll just use the word adolescent. So temporally, physically, an adolescent within the mortal body. Which it's unfortunate because it's unfortunate, but obviously it's temporarily only within our mortal body. By the way, those are the changes I'm going to make on exactly 2029.
Like whether younger or older in terms of temporarily, physically being an adolescent within a mortal body. Yeah, I mean? And I mentioned plenty of those changes on my recent live stream. Yeah, I mean? Alright, this one is overall 5 minute and 23 seconds. So the other one was 4 minute and 43 seconds. The other one's going to be 5 minute and 23 seconds.
But overall, yeah, take it in terms of their point of view.
Alright, chat.
And then, while I'm president, at exactly like 30 years old, on exactly 2035, and while Farhan is vice president at exactly 32 years old on exactly 2035, I specifically mentioned that I'm going to remove all age requirement laws on exactly 2035 and ensuring that it's permanently illegal/sinful to enforce any age requirement laws, like overall, like as I specifically mentioned in this group chat, and choose like a perfect age, as I specifically mentioned, like, regardless of our chronological age and regardless of our mental maturity, despite the age requirement laws being temporarily. Anyway, so when I mean my perfect age, I mean like, for example, 7+, like, whether it's in terms of wedding.
And before I continue that shit, chat, I specifically mentioned, you remember that talk I specifically have when I was playing as Michael? For those who are new here, I was playing as Michael and I was in his crib when I was overall having this talk overall. I mean, like about lust and all that, like how you shouldn't necessarily be a sex offender, which overall is associated with lust. And I specifically mentioned like if there's like overall less harm, like less rape, or less exploitation. So raping overall means like you're a sex offender, you're offensive, you're just choosing that individual over like you're choosing sex over love, like you're exploiting. Or excuse me, you're raping, whether younger or older individuals. That's what lust overall means. And exploiting means you take advantage of them in terms of a relationship, whether younger or older. Because my girl is 26. Excuse me, not 26. She's gonna potentially be 24, and I'm 20. If I take advantage of her, I feel like exploitation is more associated with a mentality. Like, it has nothing to do with physically. Raping is more physically, but it could be mentally as well. So it varies. It overlaps. When it comes to younger people, that's if that changes. If that doesn't necessarily occur. Yeah, I mean? Like, when I make those changes on exactly the year 2035. But I'm gonna mention what the age is gonna possibly be for 2029, which I mentioned in my recent life, but I mentioned to. Anyway, I'm gonna continue. So,
like being mentally mature, like being able to be committed to your marriage, or in terms being able to be responsible for showing honor towards your marriage.
hold on, let me play that
Really.
part over. Hold on.
Anyway, so when I mean my perfect age, I mean like, for example, 7+. Like, whether it's in terms of wedding, like being mentally mature, like being able to be committed to your marriage, or in terms being able to be responsible for showing honor towards your marriage. And in terms of like sex, being able to understand the activity and act on it, and pregnancy, being able to carry a child. And what I mean by 7+, meaning like you're aware of your mental maturity. Back in the ancient era, it was 5+, but not all individuals who are 5 and 6 years old
For both boys and girls, Chad, is what I'm specifically referring to during that.
have that mental maturity because their brain is enlarging. So for modern days, it's enlarging, you know. And once you reach like 7+, you're aware of your mental maturity. Like, it makes room for the neurons, especially the prefrontal cortex, where it's in terms of decision making, being able to be mentally mature. You know. So overall, like, while I'm president at exactly 30 years old on exactly 2035, and while Farhan is 32 years old as a vice president on exactly 2035, like, I'm going to most likely remove all age requirement laws and ensuring it's permanently illegal/sinful to enforce any age requirement laws, like whether from the past, like whether, you know, back then overall, or the ones we currently have, or the one within the future. Like newer ones, like, for example, for coffee, what if they made it like 18+, or 17, or 16, 15, 14, 13, which would be stupid because you just gotta go through puberty. So I feel like 8+.
I mean, like, if they enforce it, but they can't necessarily because it'll be not a death penalty, but you'll have like a certain type of penalty, like to not necessarily be arrogant, like choosing that age to put that age, because then the individuals who are younger, who are physically able to have coffee and mentally mature to be able to, like, how they, like, when they overall consume, you know what I mean? Like, overall, you just gotta go through puberty overall. And I mean, that's gonna be the change on exactly the year 2035. For, 2029, it's possibly gonna be like 10 or 12 or 11. Just to prove that people are mentally mature overall, and then I'm gonna lower it, like, before it's exactly 2035. I'm not gonna lower all to prove like they're able to do it. So if they're able to do that, then overall, like, you know, that's why I'm gonna remove all age requirement laws on exactly the year 2035, and y'all know that changes. For those who need her, just be sure to watch my recent live stream. You know.
As he goes through like 8 or 10, because I feel like when he goes through puberty, your heart enlarges. Like, it's fully developed, it's fully formed, just like how your brain is fully developed and fully formed, but you're aware of your mental maturity when you're like 7+.
What I mean is that your whole organs, especially your brain overall, is fully formed and fully developed after birth, but it enlarges. Well, your brain, actually, it all enlarges, but the majority of the organs are rapid during puberty, especially the brain. But the brain overall, when you're 7+, it makes plenty of room for the neurons, especially the prefrontal cortex, in terms of, like, regulating emotions, decision making, empathy, impulse control, Like, for example, impulse control. For example, alcohol. You're like, ooh, I just love it. I want to constantly drink and drink and drink. Whoa, that's temptation. Impulse control is like temptation overall. I can have impulse control as well, but well, I'm a virtue. I'm without sins, without mistakes, and very righteous in terms of me being a virtue. So you don't have to necessarily worry about that in terms of me being getting tempted. When I get tempted, it's associated with my you know what, my traumatic situation, like my rare specific type of mental trauma, which is very rare and very temporarely, and overall very decreased, like very decreased overall. You know what I mean? Which is what my stress and anxiety is specifically associated with, and whatever. Like how back then it took me a very long while for me to process in terms of majority of the aspects of majority of the things, compared to today where it takes a while for me to process in terms of certain aspects or certain things. You know what I mean? Like it takes a while for me to process in terms of using a walkie-talkie. Like for example, I'll mention Officer Mike to Officer Farhan, over, or however, because I have to go through that training process. So within my internship, I have to overall mention my name to that person's name and explain like, for example, could you possibly help me at the recreation center, which is what is within the city, and a person will be like, on it, or sure thing, whatever. Well, I have to be professional, so I would overall mention on it, sure thing, absolutely. Well, I'll be like, sure thing, I'll be there in exactly 20 minutes, or however I would specifically mention, you know what I mean? So, I would love it, and then they're not going to help me get a job, they're going to suggest like certain jobs that I would overall want to have. Which, it takes a while for me to process, so in terms of my traumatic situation, they help me, but at the same time, I know how to find a job. It's actually a program for individuals who have mental disabilities, physical disabilities, and certain type of mental trauma, like me. Like how I have a certain type of, where I have a rare specific type of mental trauma, which is very rare and very temporarily, and overall very decreased, like very decreased overall. You know what I mean? But if they don't necessarily have any of those, like none of the above, it's all good. Well, actually, it's an option, but it's specifically associated with individuals with mental disabilities and physical disabilities, or either or. For me, it's an option because I don't necessarily have any mental disabilities, but a rare specific type of mental trauma, which is very rare and very temporary, and overall very decreased, like very decreased overall. You know what I mean? Anyway, without further ado, let's get straight to shit. Let's continue with this shit.
I'm pretty sure you noticed that, Helen, when you were 7, and I noticed that when I was 7. You know?
Like being aware of your mental maturity, which is going to be referred to as the Adam and Eve law for like having a wedding, actually sex and pregnancy. And I actually mentioned, should it be like 8 plus because you have to go through puberty where your uterus is enlarged, but it's actually before puberty because it's referred to as you're aware of your mental maturity, the Adam and Eve law. So when I have talk with my kids, I'm possibly going to have a talk with them when they're 7, but they can consider any age because it's 7 plus within the future. They can choose 10. For example, they can choose 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and beyond. But I feel like if you start younger, you get to grow with your kids physically. And, well, not mentally, just physically, because you're already aware of your mental maturity. But they could be like, wow, I have a very young mom. I'm proud to just be with someone who's younger. They don't have to age. You know, they age until they're 20. All males and females age when they're 20, but not all, actually, majority of them, because I don't age. It may seem like it, but I'm pretty sure it's specifically associated with my traumatic situation, simply because of my stress and anxiety, which puts plenty of pressure within my skin, and because of my oil, and sweat. And yeah, I raise my eyebrows. When you raise your forehead, the elasticity, or whatever it's referred as, it may seem like you have stretch marks or whatever, or wrinkles, but you don't necessarily. Because whenever I drink alcohol, I'm like, oh my gosh! But no, I am just not overreacting. I'm overthinking, you know? Anyway.
And, overall, that's what I mean. Which is stupid because, like, you know. But yeah, what I mean by perfect ages, I specifically mean, like, overall, like, I've mentioned about, like, the wedding, sex, and pregnancy, like, which will be within the next decade, obviously. So, because as of currently, it's 18 plus, or 16 plus, or 14 plus. So 18 is, unfortunately, the age, despite the age requirement laws being temporarily turned to the current law, despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, and despite the changes I'm going to make on exactly 2029 and on exactly 2035.
I was going to mention that 18 was, like, the main age. Because age majority means, like, the main age. Which, in the future it would be referred to as mature majority. Because you know how people use the word age or the term age majority, since that's not going to necessarily occur? I mean, I'm going to choose a perfect age, but what seems perfect? What's going to remain for thousands of years, you know? So, I'm going to be president for 7 terms to make this country perfect so that I can get shit situated. Because people think that you would abuse your power and be a dictator. What if I mentioned to the... Because I do research, and according to research, their views is different. What if I mentioned to the government, let's make plenty of changes, and they're like, you know what? 7 terms will be cool. You will make the country perfect. I'm not saying that Trump was an ass or Joe Biden. Kamala Harris, it may seem like she has empathy, but my homie is like, nah, she's just acting righteous. But she's not necessarily. She actually gave free will to abortion. It's free. Okay, she made it mandatory. No, you have to have free will, and I feel like free will would be reasonable, meaning you have your rights to either abort or not. Same good as Trump was president. At first, I was like, you know what? Kamala Harris, but took coffee in the process, and I figured Trump could be president. Okay, I don't like certain sayings, but I love his empathy. He had empathy. He was like, I'm very, very pissed overall that Charlie Kirk was dead. And sad. I mean, I would be sad. I'll be pissed and sad if I was president. But I'm going to be vice president, you know? Oh, hold on, my homie Farhan just texted me. Give me a minute, though.
You know? But, you know, for some states it's 16 plus or 14 plus or close in age. But for all states federally, like in terms of the federal state, will be 7 plus, like in the next decade, once there's less harm, meaning less rape and less exploitation, you know? But certain perfect ages, like...
What do y'all think? Do you think it should be 7 plus or 8 plus? Adam and Eve have it when they were 7. Like, not were 7, are 7, because they've remained that age from the time of them being in the Garden of Eden, from the day they had to unfortunately leave simply because of Satan, from the day they had children at that exact age. It never changed. Okay, Cain, it was the first one who aged because that was actually a curse simply because he was the first man to sin. Adam never sinned. Cain sinned through Satan. Adam and Eve didn't because Satan sinned because he, you know, manipulated them. He was within their mind or whatever.
In terms of puberty term, despite the individual being mentally mature, like if they want to consume alcohol, drink energy drink coffee, smoke weed, smoke hookah, smoke cigars, vape electric vape, like electric cannabis, would have to be 8 or 10, meaning like as you, even despite your organs being fully formed, fully developed, they have to enlarge. So as you go through puberty, it'll be very rapid. But for sex and pregnancy, either during puberty or before puberty, depending on...
Possibly before, because if Adam and Eve was 7, it would be like a miracle. Because actually, before puberty, the uterus will actually enlarge quite a bit compared to other organs. Because that is actually the very important one. The brain, 7 plus as well, because you have to be aware of your mental maturity. Because, let's say, for example, you taught someone how to have sex. Not actually do it, but like have a talk with them. To actually do it, I feel like with your spouse, obviously. Or they would like... Because when you have a talk, you only talk with them. To act on it, I'm pretty sure that can be like a thing as well in the future if there's less harm and less exploitation, because some dads and uncles would exploit them to be like, I have the power. I'm the one who decides, not you. That is like exploitation. Or coercion, which I'm gonna possibly get into that as well, because some people think it's a threat, but at the same time, I gotta do research on it as well. It's gonna take off in the process. But raping means you physically harmed them, you forced it, or mentally they weren't aware of their mental maturity. So don't, you know, if they're 5 or 6, it depends. Like AJ from The Walking Dead, he had pre-puberty, meaning it occurred early, meaning he was very mentally mature, like aware of it early. He had a bit of a growth spurt, like it's starting to overall occur, and simultaneously he overall he had mood swings as well. He's like, no, you mentioned to me to be tough mentally. I'm gonna do is well, that's actually not mood swings. He was actually a bit hard. Actually, being hard and serious is, you know, who knows. It's just gonna take part from the process. Who knows?
How the next decade could possibly be on exactly the year 2035, so that year and beyond. Because on exactly the year 2029, I'm possibly going to choose 11 or 12 or 10, like as you're going through puberty, just to prove to humanity that people are mentally mature overall, like regardless of their chronological age and regardless of their mental maturity. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I mean. Like, despite the age limit laws being temporary, you know what I mean?
Next. 4 minutes 27 seconds. Yeah, I know, chat. You're like, I want you to continue. It's important. I've constantly repeat this shit. And I'm pretty sure my homies are like, why is this person on Snap? Why is his bitmoji up overall?
Anyway, I gotta continue because sometimes I get pissed. I actually got pissed because I was gonna mention like what I mentioned, and unfortunately the voice audio message went away, which is stupid. Like,
Yeah, because actually it was mentioning what I mentioned was which was perfect, and then like it disappeared because apparently I was getting rid of the notification because I hate it when notifications pop up. I mean, I don't mind other notifications like if it's like X. Well, actually, I don't. Actually, I get stressed and anxious, which leads to me being pissed because you're like under pressure, mentally, which is associated with my traumatic situation. That's all I'm gonna mention because I don't want to. I can constantly repeat it, but I just.
could have locked in or something, but it's fucked. Like, real shaman tossed the own. Anyway, I gotta continue. Because sometimes I get pissed. I actually got pissed because I was gonna mention like what I mentioned, and unfortunately the voice audio message went away, which is stupid. Like, it could have locked in or something, but it's fucked. Like, real shaman tossed the own Snapchat when I'm 21 years old.
That's
But anyway,
facts.
and when it comes to gambling, or owning a lottery ticket, or anything associated with mental maturity, I would say the age I mentioned, like 7+. Which, what I mean is, you're aware of your mental maturity. Nowadays, who knows? Because they never had an opportunity because of the fucked up law that we currently have, the current law, despite the age requirement laws being tempered. You know what I mean? So on exactly the year 2035, there will be no age requirement laws. But, like, if you're gonna, like, when it comes to alcohol, sex, pregnancy, a wedding, well, alcohol will be like puberty-wise, like 8 or 10+, like how some countries, I'm pretty sure, do that shit, or depending on what they prefer, which the U.S. should be like that as well, but without the age requirement shit. But when it comes to
And other countries will possibly follow. Like they would possibly have something common, or to take off from the process. I'm pretty sure like they'll overall agree. Like what? I agree with the USA. I feel like we should overall remove that shit. You know what I'm specifically referring to, chat. Anyway.
a wedding, you just gotta be like mentally mature, like 7+, which will be like the next decade. Like Adam and Eve, obviously. Which I'll explain quite a bit. So for a wedding, you just gotta be mentally mature. You gotta just be aware of you honoring your marriage, being fully committed despite you being married before a wedding. And for sex and pregnancy would either be 8 or 10 or possibly 7+, because Adam and Eve, while physically a soul a.k.a. a glorified body / glorified being, or they're physically a soul, a.k.a. a glorified being / glorified body, while physically a kid eternally and indefinitely, and looking and being 7 years old, and looking and feeling young eternally and indefinitely, as according to certain biblical series, a.k.a. the Holy Bible. So consider the fact I mentioned that they're 7, eternally and indefinitely. I'm pretty sure they had kids, and their age never changed because they were who they are through God and my Jesus Christ, as according to certain biblical series, aka the Holy Bible, like the OG Bible that mentions it. Because obviously the Bible's rewritten, and apparently Satan doesn't necessarily want to disclose the truth. But God and my Jesus Christ would possibly want me to rewrite the Bible back to His true words, and not certain versions that are rewritten. Obviously, you know what I mean? Because people are apparently predicting the rapture to occur on September 23rd, but that's fake, The rapture is going to occur in thousands of years, possibly on October 31st, but no sinner knows, and obviously there's no sinners listening to this group chat, thank goodness,
And obviously it could possibly be October 31st because some people could predict that. Like, what if it's Halloween? What if, because people honor the dead, that's what Halloween is overall. What if that's like the day of the rapture? You never know. But why exactly is not disclosed? Because people will be they would have fear. They would overall mock God and my Jesus Christ. Who knows if God and my Jesus Christ reveal it? He's possibly going to reveal it to virtues like me, because I'm without sins, I'm without mistakes, and very righteous in terms of me being a virtue, and those who are highly sanctified and lowly sanctified. Well, But those who are less sanctified and sinners, because less sanctified are close to sinners, they'll have access to heaven. They just won't necessarily have access to like the information overall. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm gonna continue overall. Because obviously, my homies are like, why the fuck my homie, like, like, Like they're like, why was my Bitmoji did? Because I'm listening to the voice message for the show. Yeah, I mean.
So when it comes to like a wedding, sex, and pregnancy, take it in terms of Adam Eve's point of view. They had kids when they were that age. They never had a wedding because their marriage was
Like when they're 7, obviously, because they remained it like that, obviously. So that's why it's referred to as the Adam Eve law or mental maturity awareness, meaning you're aware of your mental maturity, and people are aware that they are mentally mature, like they're aware of it. Yeah, I mean.
honored to the covenant of God Almighty Jesus Christ, because weddings were created by human, not God Almighty Jesus Christ. Despite him being a human, but superhuman because he's divine. Obviously, he's divine, holy, and perfect. Overall, Almighty, he's powerful. Obviously, he's holy. Obviously, y'all know what I'm specifically referring to in terms of that. Excuse me. But say for sex and pregnancy, obviously, take it in terms of their point of view, which I would refer to the mental maturity awareness law, meaning you're aware of your mental maturity, or the Adam and Eve law, like how people use Romeo and Juliet for certain terms, which close in age is obviously temporally, like despite the age requirement laws being temporally in terms of the current law, even though I'm going to make...
Or 16 plus or 14 plus, the Romeo and Juliet shit, especially close in age, because they're all temporally, meaning they'll change over time, whether lowered or removed. Like, despite the age requirement laws being temporally, yeah, I mean, which I mentioned plenty of changes for exactly the year 2029 and 2035, yeah, I mean.
Plenty of changes on exactly the year 2029 and plenty of changes on exactly the year 2035. So 2029, I'm going to be vice president. In 2035, I'm going to still be in office, but make plenty of changes during that year because it seems like a perfect year, to make plenty of changes while I'm in office and while Farhan is my vice president and could possibly be a president after me, or be a vice president of someone else and be a president afterwards while young and possibly older, like in his 70s or 80s or whatever. Or actually 60s, because I don't necessarily want him to be within those ages despite him being young like he's meant to be, And apparently he fell off while we're at work, so it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I was mentioning that he had like an accident while we were within our work in terms of our internship, yeah, I mean.
But that's what I mean, so. But overall, yeah, take it in terms of their point of view, Like, overall, So yeah, I would refer to the Adam and Eve law, and for the wedding, well, same thing. Even though they never had a wedding, you just gotta be mentally mature, Man. Hope you listen to plenty of what I mentioned. But yeah, for drinking though, it's 8 or 10, meaning you just gotta be responsible drinker and being able to handle it. But this is gonna be during the next decade. So overall, on exactly the year 2035, I'm going to most likely remove all age requirement laws on exactly the year 2035 while I'm president at exactly 30 years old and while Farhan is vice president at exactly 32 years old. And ensuring it's permanently illegal/sinful to enforce any age requirement laws, like overall, as I specifically mentioned, what's in this group chat, and choose like the perfect ages, like as I specifically mentioned, overall, what's in this group chat, I mean, and despite the age requirement laws being temporary, I mean, like regardless of our chronological age and regardless of our mental maturity, I mean.
I was thinking about something personal, I'm pretty sure.
Chronological ages, I specifically mentioned what's in this group chat, I mean. But hey, Helen, did you have a chance to listen to all those voice-chatting messages, the long-ass ones? Like, did you have a chance to listen to my 4-minute and 43-second voice-chatting message? My 5-minute and 23-second voice-chatting message? And my 4-minute and 27-second voice. So you had a chance to... Guys...
Alrighty, so yeah, that's overall the changes I'm gonna make on exactly the year 2029 and 2035.
Yo, bro, Mikey, question, bro. Hey, could you possibly send Craig Jacob Snapchats so you can know what I'm talking about, bro? Cause he wants his snap so you can make him to delete it. The forehead account, bro. The second account, bro, on Instagram, bro. The fake account of me, bro. The picture, bro, and the account, bro. Like real shit. I don't care if Jacob has the account. I just want to delete the picture, the post, cause that's not good to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? I sent a voice note to Craig, bro, Mikey. I told him that.
Yeah, I got you. My bad. I was so I'm currently live streaming at the moment, but once it overall end, I'll possibly show it to you and your girl tomorrow. Like we could possibly sit together and excuse me, like we could possibly we'll sit in that bench because I didn't necessarily want to record because I don't want them to be like, yo, why exactly screen recording? Like they wouldn't necessarily know.
I sent a voice note to Craig, bro, Mikey. I told him that you have the snap, and I'll just send Craig Jacob's snap so he can know, like, you know what I'm saying, bro? Just to talk it out with him, just to delete it, bro. Like, I asked him nicely, bro. I just want him to delete it, Jacob. Like, because, bro, I hate seeing this on Instagram, bro. Real shit, bro.
Guys, my little munchkins.
Um, did I specifically mention that I was gonna mention something? Hold up, chat.
Drink coffee, smoke. For example, alcohol. You're like, ooh, I just love it. I want to constantly drink it and drink it. For future, nearest future. I'm gonna be president. I'm gonna be vice president. Real shit. When I'm 27, he'll be 29. So real shit. And I mentioned the changes for exactly the year 2029. I mentioned that I'm going to lower certain age requirement. And this is towards you as well because I mentioned these changes within this like on my recent live streams overall, real shit. Never, I mean I'm on uploads, but I haven't been recording lately. I'm not able to record. Oh, I recorded Beyond Two Souls. Actually, the age where, like for example, when I was like 7, 8. Oh no, hold on. Actually, those are the ages where I was mentally mature. But from age 13 to 20, like to the age I currently am now, like while I was temporarily physically an adolescent within my mortal body, which obviously is a sure meaning the chronological age means piece of shit and gossip means bitch. So, but simply because the current law, which is like despite the age requirement laws being temporarily to because my parents unfortunately found on the ground. But anyway, Miracles forgot my Jesus Christ chat. Long one for me to process, which event is overall specifically associated with my rare specific type of mental trauma, which is very, very, very temporarily, and overall very decreased, like very decreased overall. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, that's
Damn.
and when I mean by regardless,
Nah, it's all good, Salvador.
like regardless of our chronological age and regardless of our mental maturity. When I mean by regardless of our chronological age, I mean like it doesn't necessarily matter which chronological age you are, like whether you're 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And beyond that, like into your 30s or 40s or whatever. But overall, chat, or not chat, overall, Helen, or anybody who's listening overall.
Yeah, I was mentioning to him within the group chat. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I got you, bro. So yeah, anyways, bro. What was I gonna say, bro? Yeah, send Craig, Jacob's snap. Just you know what I'm saying, bro. Just cause I want, cause I really want Jacob to delete the picture account of me, bro. Like the post and the picture and that fake account. Like I don't care if he keeps that account. What matters to me is I want to delete the post of me and the profile picture of me, like on Instagram, bro, on this fake account, bro. Because my parents all of us really want that deleted. Like what the fuck, bro? You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, exactly. Hold on, give me a minute. But real shit, I don't necessarily like mucus when I overhave mucus buildup. Yo, that motherfucker real shit blocked me, like, for no reason, real shit.
And tell Jacob, Craig has this picture of him, of Jacob. Because I literally sent the picture to Craig, to Jacob, and he was like, oh, like he doesn't like want to fuck with him, but even though we're all adults, you know what I'm saying, bro?
Exactly, we're all mentally mature, real shit. Like regardless of her chronological age, regardless of her mental maturity. Yeah, I mean, like despite the age criminal being temporarily. But overall, yeah, exactly.
Current law, which is a bitch ass. That's what I'm sort of saying is, which is that is over like whether you're set within that more just means like adolescent. Like when it comes to signing younger folks. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like younger individuals, like those who are temporarily, physically a kid slash child within their mortal body, you know, or temporarily physically an adolescent within their mortal body, whether younger or older, like my age or beyond that, whatever, like in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or whatever, or younger. You know what I mean? Or hundreds or thousands, which in a thousand that was like an engineer, but I'm saying like within the you know, like I'm an adolescent, you know, because the word adult, because when people mention legally an adult, 18 has nothing to do with that. I'm gonna remove folks, like younger individuals, like those who are temporarily, physically a kid slash child within their mortal body, you know, or temporarily, physically an adolescent within their mortal body, whether younger or older, like my age or beyond that, whatever, like in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or whatever, or hundreds or thousands, which in a thousand that was like an ancient era, but I'm saying like within the further future, nearest future, or excuse me, very future. But anyway, the adolescent slash adult synonym overall, especially within this decade, it's going to potentially be removed in exactly 4 years. So it doesn't mean like the final decade where it'll occur, but the final year of this decade is where it will be removed. And we'll just use the word adolescent. So temporarily, physically, an adolescent within the mortal body, which it's unfortunate because it's unfortunate, but obviously it's temporarily only within our mortal body.
Like to be an adolescent is what I'm specifically referring to. The word preteen means before you are within that phase, and teenagers obviously when you're within that phase. Preteen occurs from 10 to 12, in between, like before you're within that phase, and then teenagers 13 to 19. And when you're 20, the aging occurs. You're not within that phase. You're officially those puberties. Or it must be like when you stop growing. That's like the final phase, apparently, like growth spurt. Yeah, I mean.
Like was it younger or older in terms of temporarily, physically being an adolescent within a mortal body? Yeah, I mean, and I mentioned plenty of those changes on a recent live stream. Yeah, I mean. All right, this one is overall 5 minutes and 23 seconds. So the other one was 4 minutes 43 seconds. The other one's gonna be 5 minutes 23 seconds. Overall, yeah, taken in terms of their point of view. All right, chat. And then, you know, while I'm president, at exactly like 30 years old, on exactly 0 to 35, and while Farhan is vice president at exactly 32 years old, on exactly 0 to 35, I specifically mentioned that I'm going to remove all age requirement laws on exactly 0 to 35 and ensuring that it's permanently illegal slash sinful to enforce any age requirement laws, like overall, like as I specifically mentioned in the script chat, and choose like a perfect age, as I specifically mentioned, like, you know, regardless of our chronological age and regardless of our mental maturity, you know what I mean? Despite the age requirement laws being temporarily. Anyway, so when I mean my perfect age, I mean like
Because I mentioned, like, I was gonna mention something, so that's why I'm overall, like, you know.
7+, like whether it's in terms of wedding. And before I continue that shit, chat, I specifically mentioned, you remember that talk I specifically had when I was playing as Michael? For those who are new here, I was playing as Michael when I was in his crib when I was overall having this talk overall. You know what I mean? Like about lust and all that, like how you shouldn't necessarily be a sex offender, which overall is associated with lust. And I specifically mentioned like if there's like overall less harm, like less rape, or less exploitation. So raping overall means like you're a sex offender, you're offensive, you're just choosing that individual over, like you're choosing sex over love, like you're exploiting, or excuse me, you're raping, whether younger or older individual. That's what lust overall means.
Like, whether it's towards a younger or older individuals. Like, girls slash females slash women, which the word woman obviously means like they're mentally mature slash mentally an adult, like regardless of their chronological age and regardless of their mental maturity. I mean, especially the chronological age, I specifically mentioned in my recent live stream. I mean, like in terms of that shit, it's specifically referring to like being aware of your mental maturity, like 7+. That's what the term woman means, like you're adulting overall, bro. Shit, I mean.
Exploiting mean you take advantage of them in terms of relationship, whether younger or older. Because my girl is 26. Excuse me, not 26. She's gonna potentially be 24, and I'm 20. If I take advantage of her, I feel like exploitation is more associated with a mentality. Like, it has nothing to do with physically. Raping is more physically, but it could be mentally as well. So it varies. It overlaps. When it comes to younger people, that's if that changes. If that doesn't necessarily occur, yeah, I mean, like when I make those changes on exactly the year 2035.
And what I mean by that, I mean like there won't necessarily be exploitation and rape. Like there'll be like less harm, aka rape. Like nobody's in necessarily lust, and like a majority of those individuals won't necessarily lust, and they won't necessarily exploit. Like be arrogant, which overall leads to that, leads to rape overall. Like whether it's towards younger or older individuals, you know what I mean? If they're older chronologically, it's more of your mentality, like your IQ, like how I have exactly 500 IQ, knows exactly everything, and is equal to exactly infinite IQ. Yeah, I mean, again, chat, I have exactly 500 IQ, knows exactly everything, and is equal to exactly infinite IQ. Yeah, I mean, and in terms of your mental maturity, like how mentally mature you are, which is overall specifically associated with that. Yeah, I mean. Anyway.
But I'm gonna mention what the age is gonna possibly be for 2029, which I mentioned in my recent life tweet, but I mentioned to anyway. I'm gonna continue. So, like being mentally
Like I mentioned to those individuals in the group chat.
be committed to your marriage, or in terms being able to be responsible for showing honor towards your marriage. Let me play that part. Hold on. Anyway, so when I mean my perfect age, I mean like.
Hold on, I'll be back. Give me a minute. Coming. Alright, I'm back. My bad. I have to get my younger sister up here home. She just got finished with school.
For example, can have impulse control as well, but I'm a virtue. I'm without sins, without mistakes, and very righteous in terms of me being a virtue. Like younger individuals, like those who are temporarily, physically a kid slash child within their mortal body, you know, or temporarily, physically an adolescent within their mortal body, whether younger or older, like my age or beyond that, whatever, like in your 30s, slash sinful to enforce any age requirement laws, like overall, like as I specifically mentioned in the script chat, and choose like a perfect age, as I specifically mentioned, like, you know, regardless of our chronological age or regardless of our mental maturity. Yeah. Are new here. I was playing as Michael and I was in it. For the neurons, especially our president enlarging, you know, and once you reach like 7+,
Like that age and beyond, like 7 years old and beyond that age. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm specifically referring to. Anyway, Jay, y'all know what I'm specifically referring to. Yeah, I mean.
maturity, like it makes room for the neurons, especially the prefrontal cortex, where it's in terms of decision making, being able to be mentally mature. You know, so overall, like while I'm president at exactly 30 years old, I'm exactly 0 to 35, and while Farhan is 32 years old as a vice president, I'm exactly 0 to 35. coffee, but you'll have like a certain type of penalty, like to not necessarily be arrogant, like choosing that age to put that age.
Like what I'm referring to is that if they chose 18 plus, for example, to have coffee, like put that that age and above, that would be considered arrogant, and those below it can't actually have it. Like I feel like if you go through puberty, like 8 to 10 plus, like as your heart enlarges rapidly, yeah, I mean. I mean, your heart enlarges as you grow, but when you go through puberty, it's very rapid, which makes it seem reasonable to overall consider having coffee and energy drink. In terms of alcohol, though, that's like for your stomach, intestines, liver, and kidney. And brain, like the physical layer, have nothing to do with your mental maturity. It's more of the physical layer of it, so it doesn't necessarily eat the brain away. Yeah, I mean, because I'm sure there's certain things that your brain will overall take from alcohol. Who knows? It's gonna take off from the process. Yeah, I mean, but when you go through puberty, it would seem reasonable, like 8 or 10 plus, depending on when it occurs. But the age will vary, so don't necessarily judge those who are 8 drinking beer or certain type of alcohol. Yeah, I mean, and if you're 10 plus, like don't judge. Like in terms of puberty, yeah, I mean, like that 21 plus shit, I don't necessarily like it. Good shit. Cause I started drinking overall when I was 16. Real shit. Anyway, without further ado, let's get shit. I gotta find a part.
The individuals who are younger, who are physically able to have coffee and mentally mature to be able to, like how they, like when they overall consume. Yeah, I mean, like like overall, you just gotta go through puberty overall, and I mean that's gonna be the change on exactly the year 2035. For 2029, it's possibly gonna be like 10 or 12 or 11, just to prove that people are mentally mature overall. And then I'm gonna lower it, like before it's exactly the year 2035. I'm not gonna lower all to prove like they're able to do it. So if they're able to do that, then overall, like that's why I'm gonna remove all age requirement laws on exactly the year 2035, and y'all know that changes. For those who need her, just be sure to watch my recent live stream. You know, as you go through like 8 or 10, because I feel like when you go through puberty, your heart enlarges. Like it's fully developed, it's fully formed, just like how your brain is fully developed and fully formed. But you're aware of your mental maturity when you're like 7 plus. What I mean is that your whole organs, especially your brain overall, is fully formed and fully developed after birth, but it enlarges. Well, your brain actually it all enlarges, but the majority of the organs are rapid during puberty, especially the brain. But the brain overall, when you're 7 plus, it makes plenty of room for the neurons, especially the prefrontal cortex, in terms of like regulating emotions, decision making, empathy, impulse control. Like for example, impulse control. For example, alcohol. You're like, oh, I just love it. I want to constantly drink and drink and drink. Whoa, that's temptation. Impulse control is like a temptation, bro. I can have impulse control as well, but I'm a virtue. I'm without sins, without mistakes, and very righteous in terms of me being a virtue. So you don't have to necessarily worry about that in terms of me being getting tempted. When I get tempted, it's associated with my you know what, my traumatic situation, like my rare specific type of mental trauma, which is very rare and very temporary, and overall very difficult. So, bro, you know what I mean? Which is what my stress and anxiety is specifically associated with, and whatever. Like how back then it took me a very long while for me to process in terms of majority of the aspects or majority of the things, compared to today where it takes a while for me to process in terms of certain aspects or certain things. You know what I mean? Like it takes a while for me to process in terms of using a walkie-talkie. Like for example, I'll mention Officer Mike to Officer Farhan, over, or however, because I have to go through that training process. So within my internship, I have to overall mention my name to that person's name and explain like, for example, could you possibly help me at the recreation center, which is what is what's in the city, and a person will be like, on it, or sure thing, whatever. Well, I have to be professional, so I would overall mention on it, sure thing, absolutely. Well, I'll be like, sure thing.
Actually, I'll just mention search. I'll possibly mention sure saying on it. Or I'll possibly be like, sure, be there in exactly 20 minutes. Or possibly be like, on it. On it, be there in 20 minutes. Like exactly 20 minutes. Yeah, what I mean?
Is there
very simple, chat.
Or however I would specifically mention, you know what I mean? So, I would love it, and then they're not gonna help me get a job, they're gonna suggest like certain jobs that I would over want to have. Which it takes a while for me to process, so in terms of my traumatic situation, they help me, but at the same time, I know how to find a job. It's actually a program for individuals who have mental disabilities. necessarily have any alcohol. I'm like, oh my gosh. But no, I am just overreacting. Excuse me, not overreacting. I'm overthinking, you know? Anyway.
Overthinking. What up?
Like A plus because you have to go through puberty where your uterus is enlarged, but it's actually before puberty because it's referred to as you're aware of your mental maturity, the Adam and Eve law. So when I have, especially the brain, but the brain overall, when you're 7 plus, it makes plenty of. Anyway, so when I mean my perfect age, I mean like, for example, 7 plus. Like, whether it's in terms of wedding, like being mentally mature, like being able to be committed to your marriage, or in terms of being able to be responsible for showing honor towards your marriage. And in terms of like sex, being able to understand activity and act on it, and pregnancy, being able to carry a child. And what I mean by 7 plus, meaning like you're aware of your mental maturity. Back in ancient era, it was 5 plus, but not all individuals who are 5 and 6 years old. For both boys and girls, okay, is what I'm basically referring to here in that. Have that mental maturity because their brain is enlarging. So for modern days, it's enlarging, you know. And once you reach like 7 plus, you're aware of your mental maturity. Like it makes room for the neurons, especially the prefrontal cortex, where it's in terms of decision making, being able to be mentally mature. You know. So overall, like while I'm president at exactly 30 years old, on exactly 0 to 35, and while I'm fallen at 32 years old as a vice president on exactly 0 to 35, like I'm going to most likely remove all age requirement laws. Within their mortal body, whether younger or older, like my age or beyond that, whatever, like in your 30s, 7, 8. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go within this group chat.
Actually, chat, I'll possibly find later today. So, because I want to just continue overall. Roshi, yeah, I mean, so anyway, without further ado, let's get started. Shit, hold up, before I overall continue, chat. I was gonna overall mention something, but I'll go and take off from your process, Roshi. Yeah, I mean.
Jacob ain't shit. He blocked me. He's fucking with you because he knows you're software. You gotta think about telling him to shut the fuck up and say, you don't bother me. If he was going after me, I would still tell her. He's a bitch. He's a bitch.
Yeah, apparently he blocked in Mikey too. Mikey just told me. Like Mikey texted him. I was like to Mikey with him. I was with him at the city with Mikey. I told him, hey, text Jacob. Like we were in our phones in break to have him delete the account of me, like the picture, because I literally wanted to delete because my parents was pissed, and he literally said he made a curse on my whole family, like.
He was just fucking with us. No, he don't like you. He was fucking with you. That's how people are, so they can fuck over your life.
And plus, Nathan told me that Jacob was one who made that account because Nathan asked me if I made a new account. I'm like, no. I'm like, why, bro? And he told me, oh, there was a name called Forehead. I'm like, why is my name Forehead? It's like, I'm not Forehead. I'm like,
yeah,
why, bro? And he told me, oh,
there's
a name called Forehead. I'm like, why?
You just need to ignore it. Ignore all the negative.
Because real shit, I hate when people just fuck with me for no reason, like George and Asher, because Jacob, he wanted me to apologize to Asher's brother just for no reason, just because I made a threat. Like, okay, that was between me and Asher and his brother. It's not like he doesn't have to get involved, you know what I'm saying, bro? Real shit, bro? Because I literally apologized to him, like, and me and him, like, we're cool. It's not just for friends, you know what I'm saying, bro? Cause real shit, bro, I literally wanted to delete it. Like, cause did you know, bro? Search the internet. You know Jacob could get arrested for doing that shit. It's true. Look at this shit, bro. Like, real shit, I tried to ignore the negative, but I don't know. Cause even I blocked that account on Instagram, bro, shit, it just, I don't know, bro.
Has that account been texting you lately, Farhan?
See me chat?
So far, bro, no, it hasn't been texting me or my brother, no, bro. But, the gray account, the picture showed up. Yo, who blocked you, bro? Who blocked you for no reason, bro?
That motherfucker, bro, blocked me, real shit.
He blocked me, so he don't want nothing to do with.
Bro, he blocked me as well, bro. Like, I mentioned to him, delete that fucking account, bro. Cause otherwise, once I'm a cop, I'm about to arrest his ass. He about to be a pussy, be like, oh my god, I don't want to get arrested. Like that's how he's gonna act, bro. Shit, like watch, bro. Me and Fahan, we ain't gonna fuck around, bro. You wanna be a cop, bro? Oh shit, you can't. Fuck. Real shit, I'm gonna get you clear up, bro. Cause I specifically mentioned that once I'm the leader of the FBI, I'm gonna get your shit. I'm gonna get your ass clear up, and Dakota, if he's overall being honest towards us, like being direct towards the truth overall in terms of like what overall occurred what's in the past. My bad, I had to apparently deal with someone. And actually, I did mention about him on my like live stream. So all you gotta really should do is just watch my recent live streams. It's that simple. But I don't see why some individuals be stressed like, oh my gosh, I can't find it, you know. But afterwards, I'm possibly gonna have dinner when I get a chance. Real shit. Anyway, without further ado, let's get straight to this shit. And yeah, it's gonna take a while for me to process in terms of like putting the shit up, but it's all good. Apply. Like I'm overall applying for a job. Oh my gosh, my head hurts quite a bit. I don't necessarily like it. But yeah, y'all know what the changes for exactly year 2029, 2035. I'm gonna be a great president, but I gotta overall achieve biological immortality and biological indestructibility, or indestructibility biologically. Otherwise, I'll be like dead. Because Charlie Kirk, he's a Christian evangelist, or however you would refer that to. So I don't necessarily want to be in that similar position. Otherwise, people be sad. They'll be crying. I don't necessarily want anybody to cry. It'll be like deep crying. But apparently, there's a flashback of when this fucking shit occurred. Fucking David.
Medicine you need, AJ.
Exactly, and they all were assholes towards you. Not heavy medicine de loca. What is this, real shit? Meeting? Meetings typically occur indoor, not outdoors. Well, back then was outdoors. I'm pretty sure when there wasn't buildings like that. But this is like the modern era. Come on, you gotta have buildings. Oh shit. How old is he? Like 4 years old?
Nothing to worry about, little guy. We're gonna get you better.
He loved that. He loved when I talk. He loved when a woman talk, a young woman. Cause she's mentally mature, so.
That's how she won our unit wrestling champion.
Lucia looking like PewDiePie. God damn. They think it's stealing? Nah, bro. You don't necessarily need to, if you're part of something, you don't necessarily need to ask permission. Like in my business, someone were to real shit steal my files. Well, that's a different story. They would have to ask permission because they have to be like, could I possibly borrow it? I would ensure that your privacy is respected in terms of certain circumstance. Like whether it's in terms of stealing my identity, which is arrogant, like you want to act like you're someone you're not necessarily, or if it involves greed, like money, you're wanting more out of that person, real shit.
Here it is.
Cause Dr. Lingo real shit is high, so he doesn't necessarily know shit. And I played this game before overall, so that's why I'm like, you know. You're gonna mention it's the last one? I don't give a shit. Others are gonna survive overall. This is for AJ's sake, real shit. Have faith and empathy.
Hang in there, goofball. This is gonna get you better.
Hell yeah. Because he never had a shot when he was a baby. And that could actually, you can actually die over all shit. When you're like fully a kid, like temporarily, physically a kid / shot what's in your mortal body. Like when you're like 5 years old, and he's like 4 years old or something. Like, or 3 years old.
Dr. Lingard, what's the matter with you?
Hold on, 3 years old. Because then he's gonna be 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, he's actually 3 years old, real shit. When you're like 4, I'm pretty sure you're like quite near and you don't actually want to get an infection. What if you die? You never know.
I'm fine.
It's all good. You're just high as fuck.
Clem, please don't. The vancomycin. That's the last of it.
Oh, fuck
It'll be
you,
wasted
buddy.
on AJ.
Uh-huh.
I told you.
You're high.
It could save someone's life if used right. It's too valuable to throw away.
You selfish jerk.
Yeah, he's high.
You die to save your drugs.
Because they won't do a thing for him.
How so? You're high.
I'm sorry, Clem. I tried everything. I really did.
This will help him get
What
better.
exactly does he do? He smoked
Nothing
weed?
can help your boy now.
Fuck you, it's my son. I signed a deal with Rebecca.
Drugs
You just
back
didn't know.
Before anyone finds out you took them.
See, I used the word took.
You know what they do to thieves here. There's still time.
Thieves? What are
I have
assholes?
to try.
Stay still.
Come on, AJ, stop. You need to hold still. Here we go.
I mean, when I had a shot when I was a baby, I was like screaming like a bitch because they put a shot on my ass. But it's quite different.
AJ.
Ooh.
What the hell is this?
I had to heal him.
It was a bad idea.
Asshole. Come on, Ava.
You fucking high again?
Oh, he definitely
Sit
is.
together before the others see you. Deal with the damn kid. What the fuck were you thinking?
Bruh, I had to heal him. You want him to die?
Those drugs couldn't help him. How could you be so stupid?
Well, you're all
So
assholes.
selfish.
Motherfucker.
Did you think I would just give up on him? AJ is everything to me, David. I'd do anything to keep him alive.
Except there's nothing left to do.
Uh-huh.
That waste, that'll cost someone's
Waste.
life down the road.
Damn,
Someone
people
in
love to
this
use that
camp.
word.
Someone who contributes to our survival.
Come on, David. She was just trying to help her kid.
Exactly.
Enough's enough. We should have left him out in the woods a week ago.
But look, it's helping.
It doesn't work that way, Clem.
Well, shut the fuck
You
up,
bought him a
Lingard.
peaceful moment. Nothing more. I
And you
wish
gotta stop smoking weed
I
or
could
whatever
tell
you're
you
on.
It would save him.
Actually, weed.
That's the reality.
I'm sorry. I
No,
thought
no,
there
no.
was a chance.
No! Nope. She ain't gonna apologize. Apologizing for something you didn't necessarily do. Come on. You gotta be tough. I don't want necessarily want to have the guilt trip. Because actually, guilt trip is associated with Satan. He wants to make you weak. Is that a sin? No, it's gonna make their sin greater than their righteousness. Come on. Hope it doesn't necessarily restart. My bad, I was so stressed and anxious. And slapping myself is gonna make it worse. Come on. I want to play the season 4, Walking Dead season chapter. That's a chapter 1. The Walking Dead season 4. I'm gonna mention final season, and they mentioned final season because they thought their company was gonna be bankrupt, and 2, that just means like the final chapter of Clem. Clem chapter is official. Of course, it's gonna be Dude de Loca. Why does it overall appear as black?
We're gonna get you the medicine you need, AJ. I don't care what they say.
Is her brain fully enlarged? No. But it's fully developed and fully formed. So you're very aware of your mental maturity since the day she was 7. But what I mean is, what if there's something she didn't knew and she's like, oh. So you think a 17-year-old version of Clem would have been like, wow. What they've done to AJ was fucked. And back then I just let it go? So that's what I mean. Actually, you never know. You never know. It could be a miracle. You never know. I mean, who knows? It's gonna take off from the process. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean she's a dumbass. She could still. What if she could run for president? You know? Like, what if she ran for a leader at the age of 14, which would be cool. But because it's the walking apocalypse, you can do whatever. There's no law that can stop you. Satanic laws. thinking that you're immature, they're loca. And people, because they think they're young, when they look at them, they think that they're gonna be a dumbass. It's not about the looks, it's about the mentality. Skin and brain, motherfucker. No offense, but be a psychologist for once. I feel like there should be a majority of psychologists. Like, I feel like there should be science through God Almighty Jesus Christ, not Satan. Because humanity created science, apparently. Well, God Almighty Jesus Christ created it, but unfortunately, Satan let that interfere. Like, what? Because science and religion, they coexist, they overall combine together. You know what I mean? As according to certain biblical series, aka the Holy Bible, which was rewritten by certain cultural individuals, which is stupid, from younger and older individuals. I'm gonna rewrite it back to God Almighty Jesus Christ, true words in terms of the actual Bible. You know what I mean? Like, as according to certain biblical series, aka the Holy Bible. You know what I mean?
Yo, bro, I subscribe. Bro, who's the bug motherfucker, bro? Who blocked you, bro? Like, who blocked you? Who, bro? Like, give me the name. Like, the name of the person.
Fucking Jacob Winningham, bro. I mentioned him to delete your account. He mentioned that he doesn't care until he blocks me. Like, fucking dick.
Who, bro? Yo, bro, I subscribed to Rogue's YouTube and I saw her in this Madison Hazard, bro.
Why you mentioned she said akhira stuff Allah and all that shit?
Why you mentioned she said stuff a lot and all that shit? Okay.
But my brother blocked him because he was texting my brother, saying like, "Oh, tell Fortnite to hi, left him been emoji," and he said that me and my brother we can't do shit. Like, oh, I've been know he has Facebook Messenger, bro. I've been know, but he blocked me. He had my brother. No, bro.
When? Today?
No, bro. A week ago. A week ago, he texted my brother, but he blocked me since last year. Last year on Facebook Messenger.
Yo, if I want a real shit be president, I gotta real shit be biologically immortal and have indestructibility biologically. Because I don't necessarily want to be in a similar position like Charlie Kirk. Because, you know, what if I have certain haters and they have guns, real shit? You know, it's fucked, but, you know, you never know. What if I got shot and, like, it wouldn't be great. It would be like I'm in a coma and, you know. Because I'm not meant to die, real shit.
Wow, that fucking bitch. Cause you know what's funny, bro? Craig told me that,
See me, chat.
he told me that, yeah, that Jacob is fucking stupid, and even though, he's like, you know, Craig told me, the reason why he did that shit, because he likes to fuck with me, and I hate when people fuck with me. You know what, bro? Let's have a talk with Christy tomorrow, which is you and me, about this, and we'll go to the police station.
We may possibly head to the gas station because she mentioned either today or tomorrow our instructor, you know. That's our instructor, the one he mentioned, Christy. Obviously, you just keep it private what I supposed to mention, real shit. You know what I mean? I'm quite pissed, though, of what that motherfucker Roshi did, like the one who blocked me. And he's childish. Anyway, I gotta, without further ado, let's go straight to shit. Cause he never had the shot when he was born, and you're meant to have it when you're born, Roshi. You know what I mean?
Don't worry about little guy.
If that was my kid, I'll give them a shot as a doctor. Because I'm actually going to consider being a doctor, so... I'll possibly be like a pediatrician doctor. Primary care physician, you never know. I possibly could consider it. I feel like primary care should be for those 10 and beyond that. Not like after puberty. I feel like, yeah, that shit, you know. And I feel like they overcheck your genitalia, aka your that area, if you know what I'm specifically referring to for boys and girls. Just not like during puberty or after, but just ensure it's healthy and overall, you know what I mean? Especially for those who got pregnant, to ensure like it's safe or it was protected like after birth. Oh yeah, they use like something where you can overall like consume the fluid overall or something. I have to have food afterwards, like, you know. And I gotta deal with Dr. Lingard. I'm pretty sure he was on drugs, cause weed. I smoked weed once, like pre-rolls, and you know, my bad for talking over dialogue, or excuse me, not dialogue. We'll talk over it overall. But overall, Yeah, I smoked it once back in March. That's all I'm gonna mention. Obviously, you just keep probably would have specifically mentioned. Because my uncle wouldn't necessarily mention shit, obviously. But yeah, nothing interfered. So I feel like he's on drugs. Because drugs is like worse than real shit. Hold on, my homie Craig just texted me. Real shit, he'll be a pussy if I was the one to most likely arrest him. Me and Farhan, real shit. Cause I want to consider being the cop. I want to see what his overall like.
Clem.
Dr. Lingard, what's the matter with you?
I'm fine.
Oh, you ain't necessarily fine, real shit.
Clem, please don't. The vancomycin. That's the last of it.
Oh my gosh.
It'll be wasted on AJ.
Nah, brother.
I told you. It could save someone's life if used right.
I'm gonna mention another choice. Hold up.
It's too valuable to throw away.
That's not why I
You
overall
don't know that
recharged.
for sure.
Sadly, I do. It's my curse.
Your curse.
Buddy.
Knowing when someone's gonna die.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, Clem.
He ain't the doctor.
I tried
He's meant to be real shit.
everything. I really did.
This will
Uh-huh.
help him get better.
Exactly.
Nothing can help your boy now. Clem.
Yeah, fuck you,
The
Lingard.
drug's back.
I know, I've already
Everyone
mentioned this shit
finds
about
out you took
him. I already mentioned shit about him.
You
overall.
know what they do to thieves here.
Well, I ain't necessarily a
I
thief.
have to try.
Like I mentioned, if you're part of something, you have your rights. If it's something that's private, that's very different, like quite different.
Come on, AJ, stop. You need to hold still. Here we go.
Damn, he's a smart ass. He's got a huge head, so I'm pretty sure it made plenty of room for his brain. But he is 3, so it's overall enlarging. It didn't necessarily make plenty of room for the neurons, especially the prefrontal cortex. Like, he cries when he takes a shot. Like, his pain, in terms of his pain tolerance. Like me when I was younger, I was like, ah, you put a shot in my ass, or whatever, you know? He
AJ,
couldn't roll his sleeves up.
What the hell
do
is
this
this?
to the shirt.
I told her it was a bad idea.
Fuck you, Lingard. Like, see,
You
he
fucking
like
high
you know.
again? Pull yourself together before the others see you. Deal with the damn kid. What the fuck were you thinking?
What I
You were told
what I was thinking,
those drugs couldn't help him.
Buddy.
How could you be so stupid? So selfish?
did you
Selfish.
think I would just give up on him?
Fuck
AJ
him.
is everything to me, David. I'd do anything to keep him alive.
Except there's nothing left to do.
Fuck you, man.
That waste?
Obviously there was.
That'll cost someone's life down the road. Someone in this camp. Someone who contributes to our survival.
Buddy,
Come on, David.
that is bullshit.
Just trying to help her kid.
We helped enough. We should
Exactly.
have left him out in the woods a week ago.
But look, it's helping.
Shut the fuck up, you pedophile.
It doesn't work that way, Clem. You bought him a peaceful moment. Nothing more.
Bro, you're high. You know that's
I
real
wish
shit illegal.
I could tell you
It was worth it.
But that's the reality.
Actually, let's mention to their face.
That's more than you did. Any of you.
That's not fair.
You ungrateful little shit. We opened our arms to you, made you one of us. This is how you repay us?
Oh my
By
gosh.
stealing?
You're
By
accusing
putting
me, you
yourself before the
motherfucker.
group? You're done here. You broke our rules.
I ain't
Clem.
necessarily putting our toe.
Violated our trust. There's no place for you in the new frontier. You've made that pretty damn obvious.
I made the right call. One you refused to make.
Well, I'm making one now.
Well, fuck
Get
you,
your
bitch.
shit and get out.
I'll fuck you up.
Maybe
Man
we
to man.
should give her another chance.
Don't
Come
fight
on,
me this
Lingard.
call.
You gotta have
I know what
empathy.
Joan would say if she were here.
Well, Joan is an
I'm sorry,
asshole.
Clem.
I'll fuck
You
her up
brought
as well.
this on yourself.
Man to woman.
Come on, AJ. We don't need this place anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
He stays.
Ah, you ain't taking him, buddy.
Can't take him with you. That ship has sailed.
I signed the deal. Rebecca and I have made
You don't
agreements,
even
so.
want to take care of him.
Clem, he's in no condition to try.
Buddy,
Let
he's
him go,
calming.
Clem.
Oh,
You
come on,
only
Ava,
got
don't be a
people on your
pussy.
back.
You motherfucker.
You monsters!
Fucking bitch.
What about this? What was it all for? Don't forget, I'm one of
Exactly,
you.
if you're part of that organization.
Not anymore.
Wow. You're a dumbass, you know.
Let her say goodbye.
Well, I'm gonna
We
spit
owe
on his
her
face,
that
watch.
much, at least.
Watch.
Fine. You heard her.
Nah, Ava, baby girl, we don't play like that.
Say what you
Girlfriend.
need to say, then you go.
Please
Nah.
don't make me regret this.
Or you gonna regret this.
Really, Clem?
I have my rights.
You're a piece of work. You know that?
You're a piece of
You
work,
deserve
buddy.
everything you get.
Ava, shut the fuck up. Don't be a pussy simply because David is your right-hand man. Come on. We don't play it like that, chat. I'm gonna pause it right here. That is actually illegal for stealing a child from someone. Plus, what's in the Walking Dead apocalypse? She made a deal with Rebecca. Rebecca's like, you're dead. I signed a contract. I made an agreement that I'm gonna take care of him until I die. Then someone else can take it. Well, actually, he's gonna be a grown-ass man that he wouldn't even need someone afterwards. So that is her deal. Right until she dies overall, he'll be like independent man. Cause she's fostering him. That's the whole point of foster care. Meaning it's a waiting call and then you adopt him. Adopting mean you have adapt your life towards that shit. You adapt it, you know. Fucking bitch, David and Ava. I didn't like that. I didn't like that shit.
Would be the one. Finally,
No, you knew he was the one.
One what?
the one who didn't die.
Oh, he ain't dead. Okay, David was heartless. Fuck David.
I can't believe David would be so heartless.
My little goofball. I survived.
Man, if it was Alva and Rebecca,
Let's
they
just
both
wait
they're all
there
getting bitch
sometimes.
slapped. Even Jesus pits, he's like, fuck them. They're all gonna go to hell when I judge them. See, I love you, Trip. I don't like what you did before, but I love you, man.
This
You
is
even
the
agreed
circle
that
of
they
back.
fucked up.
Our smelly friends are back.
But anyway, chat, I'm not gonna end it right here, but I'm gonna actually I am gonna end it right here because I'm gonna actually I'm gonna end it right here. If you want to see more of me playing The Walking Dead, Season 3 New Frontier, which is not necessarily typical playthrough, be sure to leave the comment down below. I'll end it right. Take it easy, chat. And I'll find what I was gonna mention, like next stream real shit. So anyway, I'm gonna end it right here. Take it easy, chat. Yeah, I don't necessarily like that. I'm gonna actually close the application as well. So take it easy, chat.